What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Switch It Up podcast, episode 5. Today we got a very special guest. It's David Bronstein. For those of you who've been following us in the past, you'll know all about this guy. He's my personal favorite TikToker and a comedic genius. For those of you who don't, I will quickly here play you a couple pieces of his incredible TikTok accomplishments, and you'll quickly realize why we're talking to him. And we'll be breaking down some of his incredible past with infomercials and everything else. The guy's an absolute hoot. So here, I'll play you a few things.
Well, as you can see, here's my private jet. And you can't go here, see that?
Sorry for the wait, Mr. Bronstein.
Yeah, thank you. You're all saying to me, show me your car, show me your car. I'm showing you my private jet. I'm on my way. Thank you, driver. I got to get off to my private jet to Las Vegas. Now, email me and DM me. Let's make our bill.
Just the way it cuts off is just incredible. And we'll be asking him a ton about that. And then we'll also be talking to him about his past work. He did a bunch of like crazy infomercial work with a bunch of old famous porn stars, and he could not be off the air in the 90s. So we'll be talking to him a lot about that. And here's a sneak preview of that. The Prince of Love, David Bronstein.
On Dial-A-Date, the hottest way to connect in the 90s. Starring the Prince of Love, David Bronstein. Hey, darling, come here. You ever have a baby?
Yeah.
Well, what does it feel like to have a baby?
You put your fingers in your mouth and pull on your cheeks.
Like this here?
Yeah.
What's so hard about that?
Well, now try pulling them over your head.
Featuring the Dial-A-Date.
It's incredible. So without further ado, guys, may I introduce to you David Bronstein. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. The Prince of Love himself. I have done numerous background research on you. A couple of my friends, I just want to start off by saying my friends and I found your TikTok, which I guess is not usually how people would normally find you from over your career, but we couldn't stop laughing at your TikToks. We sent them to each other. We kind of were in a group about it, and I thought it was great, but I just want to know how you got started on TikTok.
Here's the deal.
Right.
And I appreciate you having me on your fantastic show.
Of course.
I'm a television guy. You know me from TV, the late night dating shows. That's the world I play in.
Exactly.
And this world, YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and content platforms, that's the new creators world. And that's the world I want to play in. But I don't know how to play in because, you know, when I bought it, and I'll answer your question in a second. It's a long answer I'm giving you. When I bought a VCR in 1979, I paid $780 for a VCR, a Betamax. But I was a kid in my 20s, and to me, I knew how to do it. But my parents, it was beyond their time. They knew radio and movies, you know, and they didn't know how to do it. So I'm like my parents now, and you're in this digital age, where I to go on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, my kids plug in the computer right away. They're the next, you know, Mr. Beast. So for me I figured out YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, great. And then I'm constantly reading Forbes magazine and Success magazine, Entrepreneur, Wired, Fast Company, because I want to play in that world. So when I'm reading about TikTok and these TikTok stars and these kids came to the Eaton Center and they had more fans than the Beatles, I said, right. I got to get, I don't know. And I asked my kids, what's TikTok? And they didn't even know what the hell. Nobody knew what TikTok was. So because I kept reading about it, I said, I got to get on TikTok. But of course, I couldn't figure it out. So my kid brought me cupcakes from a store, a very expensive cupcake store that he must spend $10 a cupcake. Who knows why? And it was in a plastic container. Right. And when I opened the container, all the tops of the chocolate cupcakes, they all came off. So when that happened, I said, you know, I'm going to go on TikTok and I'm going to say, is this a good cupcake? Whatever I did at the time. And that's how I went to TikTok and I videotaped that. And I said, are these good? Look, is this a good way to eat a cupcake? Whatever I said. And the next day, my kid said to me, do you see how many views you have on that TikTok video? I said, no, I had maybe close to 500 views, which I couldn't believe because my YouTube videos, they get 2 views, me and some schmucks looking for, you know, TikTok, you know? So when I said, what? I have 500 views, I'm going to run with it because I'm a gambler and I roll the dice and I'll go with patterns, whatever it is. So that's how I got.
That's the thing with TikTok. I feel like it's almost a great equalizer when it comes to social media, because on YouTube, it's like your content has to be highly produced. It has to be rather like easily clickable, a great thumbnail. There's so much that goes into it. With TikTok, it's point and shoot. You can have a charismatic personality and you can start racking up views, which is incredible. And it seems to be what you've done and what you've started to do on TikTok.
Point and shoot, exactly. Because I need a content manager. I need these creator kids, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, PewDiePie.
Yeah.
I need those guys to run the David Bronstein content so I could do what I could do and they could do what they could do.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you have this a way of engaging no matter what you're talking about. Just this, and I haven't really quite figured it out. We were wondering, and this leads me to a second question. Some of the way you end your videos, like you'll be filming in a McDonald's and you'll go, "It's the rich McDonald's," it's all this stuff, and we love it. And then you'll like pan the camera and you'll just end the video, and we can't stop laughing at the way you did that. And we don't know if it's comedic genius or if you just shut off the camera or if it's the mix of personality and just how you think to do that.
It's comedic genius. Write that down. Comedic genius, please. That's my name. My new book, Comedic Genius, starring David Bronstein.
That's incredible.
You're so funny. Here's the deal. All the bullshit that you see me do on TikTok, all that crap.
Yeah.
It's all show business. That's all it is. It's all a nutty character that I make myself laugh and I have fun entertaining myself in doing that. So why the camera turns off, it gives me 60 seconds. And I used to do Facebook Live, blogs, videos, whatever, and I would go on and on and on, like the Howard Stern show, and that would last 20 minutes, some an hour. But TikTok only gives me 15 seconds or 1 minute. So if it cuts off, it's cutting off because they're cutting it off. But just tell everyone I'm a comedic genius. I like that line.
Right. Okay. All right. Comedic genius, David Bronstein. It is.
That's
yeah.
great.
There was one specific video where you were in the rich McDonald's where you filmed a bunch of your videos, and then you had panned over to all the cars that you were showing that day, and then it just cut off with nothing else in the thing. And I swear I watched that video 150 times. It was incredible. Just the way we couldn't figure out if it was you had planned to end that or if whether the camera just cut off.
Planned to end it. I don't know. Here's the deal. I'm from Philadelphia.
Right.
And I grew up in a beautiful area. My parents grew up in South Philly, which is where Rocky takes place, all these row homes and stuff like that. And then my parents wanted me to have grass because there's no grass. It's little narrow streets. So they moved up to an area called Northeast Philadelphia. It was all farmland. They built home development, all that crap. So when I grew up there, I went to movies and restaurants. I worked in the Catskills as part of a comedy team, all this wonderful stuff. When I met my wife in the Catskills and I moved to Toronto because my in-laws kept telling me, this is the place to be. They're making movies in every corner. And they were when I came here. I said, I'll become a big fish in a small pond in Toronto, become a big star, and then I'll move to Hollywood.
Right. When
we moved here, the area that we moved in, and my in-laws lived in this area, so we moved to be near my in-laws. The success that I saw here, when I grew up in Philly, they had Cadillacs, and the rich had Cadillacs. And
right.
A friend of mine bought a Jaguar, a Mercedes. But here, where I live, coincidentally, it's like living in Malibu or Bel Air. And when I say I live in the Porsche neighborhood, as long as I've lived here, I'm still amazed every day when I go through the neighborhoods to go to McDonald's that I see Maseratis and I see Porsches. It's like the norm where I live. So I'm still enamored by that. So when I go to Starbucks and I see Porsches and Maseratis and Lamb parked outside, even before I would do these TikToks, I would say, where does all this money come from? Well, where's all this wealth? I got to jump in on the action. So me saying, how about the rich Starbucks? I'm being overly facetious, and I'm expressing my thoughts. Look at all this wealth and this money and this lifestyle, and I'm telling my viewers, you could have this too because I want it, and I'm going to share it with you. And the best way to get it is to do what they do. Right. And that's why I say we replicate successful billionaire business models. I'm at the rich Starbucks because I see a Tesla there and I see a Mercedes. So the rich McDonald's. That's why I say it, because the rich people are there. So, but it's only
this is another question that I had was, so you're referring on TikTok to the billionaire prize that you
Yeah.
always refer to and how we're all going to make our billions. You're referring to the sense that we should join the David Bronstein media empire and become the next Logan Paul and so on.
Well, the fastest way, you know, I got a lot to tell you in 45 minutes. The fastest
Actually,
way.
before you do continue on, sorry to cut you off there. To add to that question, you said that you're jumping in to this all pizzazz as well. Have you so far seen any success yourself as well, relating towards the Billionaires Club that you talk about?
I have 3 lawyers. One lawyer is a litigation lawyer, so I have to use him to sue the haters. I'm joking. Then I have, and then I have an entertainment lawyer, and then I have a Hollywood lawyer. And the reason I'm telling you this is because my entertainment lawyer always says to me, do proof of concept deals. So proof of concept deals are deals that are proven to be successful. And deals proven to be successful are e-commerce, affiliate marketing, crowdfunding, NFTs, cryptocurrency. So when I read these success stories and I see them on YouTube and I see them online, these college dropouts are making too much money with their billion-dollar startups, and all their success stories like Casper and Ring Alarms and Harry's Razors and Dollar Shave Club. I said, I'll just do what they do. If that's where the cash is at, that's where they're at. So if you, as you did a background check on me, as my wife does every day, and you and you saw the dating shows I did.
Yes, we're going to get into those.
All right. So as the entrepreneur, my mother always said to me, Dave, you're an entrepreneur. So as the entrepreneur that I am, that company, a friend of mine and I started it. He put up 40,000, he mortgaged his house for 40,000. And we went in business together and we started doing these dating shows. Call the number, it's one-on-one in the street, all that bullshit, whatever the hell I said.
Yeah.
And that company generated $6 million in our first year.
Wow. That's incredible.
But it's not $1 billion. It's only $6 million.
Yeah, very true.
So my whole world is building assets. And I don't know if I say this in my pitches, but my followers know what the hell I'm talking about anyway. But it's constantly building assets that generate cash and constantly rolling the dice till you hit the billionaire prize. So that.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's definitely something to strive for. And what we did too is just when we were emailing you, we were just enamored with the content you were putting out. But then as I started to go down the David Bronstein rabbit hole on your website and read the Blog TO article, I found out that you did all these, you were a really prominent infomercial person in the 90s and so on. And you had all these crazy things like Dial a Date and American Stripper. And how did that start? Where did you get the info to just jump into infomercials like that? Obviously, your personality screams infomercial.
I came here as an actor. I was a comic. I worked as a part of a comedy team like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. I worked in the Catskills. I worked in Los Angeles, the Comedy Store, and all those clubs, all that stuff. So when I came to Toronto, because I met my wife in the Catskills, it was like Dirty Dancing. And I did movies here. I worked with Al Pacino in Sea of Love. I was a stand-in for 3 months.
Wow.
And then I did a series called Doghouse. I don't know if you saw any clips of Doghouse. It was on USA Network. And then my career was, as an actor, as a performer, was moving forward. And then everything stopped. I said, I need action. If I don't give myself the lifestyle that I want, and if I don't give myself a career in show business that I want, I ain't getting it because nobody's giving it to me. So I said the fastest way to get on television is to produce my own shows and star in them. And this was before YouTube, that you could do it yourself.
Right.
So I came up. I was in bed with my wife or my girlfriend. I'm sure it's my wife. I was not watching this. I was in bed with my wife, and I was watching.
Oh my God.
Arsenio Hall was on the Arsenio Hall show, and after
Right.
Arsenio Hall became a show called the Nia Peebles Party Machine, which is a bunch of hot girls dancing.
Right.
And I thought, there should be a phone number to talk to those girls. And to connect with them. I had an idea. But again, I'm not a technical guy. I don't know what the hell I am, but whatever I am. So I pitched the idea to other players that had 976 numbers, booking ads in the newspapers in Toronto. I want to go on television with hot girls and to put your phone number to talk to the hot girls. So the guys would pay me $10,000 to produce a show for them, and they give me a piece of the action, but I never saw the piece of the action because that's where the real money, that's the sweetest plum, is where the calls, not just pay me 10 grand. So I said, I got to buy the airtime, and I tried to produce a show called The Meat Market, and then I went to Labatt's, and I went to other normal you buy a show, you produce a show, you get a showrunner, you try to get it on television, you pitch to the networks. I can't wait. So I said, I'll just buy the airtime. And that's how I got involved in the infomercial business, by not waiting for anything that I want, by keep busting through the obstacles, the walls, the barriers, which are every day, until I get what I want. So that's how I got in the infomercial business, is to buy the time to get on television, to be a performer, to do my Catskill shtick with the girls. But I had to make money because I had no advertisers paying for the commercials. So I thought of the 900 line that I'll pay when I buy the airtime to chat with the girls, and that could pay for the airtime, pay me, and that's how I did it.
I love
Okay.
it.
So with these like unorthodox jobs that you've had in the past, and like this crazy lifestyle that you've lived, obviously, you know, one big question like all the viewers have had so far is, you know, how you met your wife. Like, what's the story behind all that? Especially with this lifestyle that you pose.
There's actually people watching. You know
not,
what you mean?
Not currently, but there's viewers
will be.
After we record. Yeah.
So when I was working the Catskills, I was part of a comedy team like Jerry Lewis and you know what the Catskill Mountains? You know what that is? It's a big resort area in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's no longer there. Where all these entertainers got their start: Mel Brooks, Jerry Lewis, Jackie Mason, Buddy Hackett. The biggest players all started in the Catskills. So again. And replicating, if you want to be successful, do what successful people do. I went to the Catskills to perform because that's where all the clubs are and all the entertainers were performing there. And my wife was a guest. She came up for the week, and that's how I met her for the week, as a guest there for the week. And she went back to Toronto because that's where she's from, and I'm from Philly. And we had a long distance relationship. We kept in touch, letters, phone calls. There was no internet or cell phones or anything like that. And she'd come to visit me in Philly. I'd come to visit her in Toronto. And then eventually she moved to Philly, because I was going to New York, going to cattle call auditions to be the next Broadway star. And my in-laws, who lived in Toronto, said, there every 2 minutes there's movies in every corner. This is where you should start your career. So I moved here, and that's how I met Andrea. But I met her in the Catskills, then we had a long distance relationship.
That's awesome. Did you find
So-
long distance hard, doing like the constant infomercials where you're in the clubs and you're having to act like that? Did it matter at the time?
Well, I did the infomercials in Toronto when I started that business in Toronto.
Right.
But it's all show business. The girls, the clubs, everything is scripted. All the jokes and one-liners and the
Right.
hey baby, hey gorgeous, whatever I said. It's all. We shot the shows in the afternoon because the clubs are so loud you can't hear anything I'm saying when the clubs are there. So we shot the shtick, the one-liners in the afternoon, and at night we'd go to get filler of the actual club dancing and the girls dancing and all that crap.
So
But it was all.
with these infomercials, with things like American Stripper, my favorite's Dial a Date. I loved watching that on your website. What was your favorite thing that you got to do? And did a specific infomercial with all the ones you've done stand out as your funniest or your best? Or did you ever receive reactions that you thought were maybe over the top on a specific infomercial?
You mean the Dial a Date ones or the American Stripper ones?
Either. Which one received the most praise, or which one did you get like a specific reaction that maybe you weren't expecting?
It's easy for me to say. The Dial a Date ones, well, my business partner, we're two guys, me and my partner, Andrew Wells. We started that company. Our office was in Yorkville by Harry Rosen, which is not there anymore. Now it's a condo, whatever it was.
Right.
And when we shot the shows and the dating shows and we went in the clubs and wrote cats, it was only a vehicle for me to perform on television to become a big star. So the jokes, the one-liners that I did on those shows, guys were calling our date lines, billing $20,000 a month on their phone bills, $40,000 a month calling our girls to chat with them. We were spending $250,000 a month, $250,000 a month buying airtime because our shows are running 150 times a week. That's why a lot of people still remember me, because every time you change the channel, I was there on every channel at 1, 132, 233, 334, 435. The more we bought time, the more money we made. But regarding, I did, I think 9 shows. I've shot in Las Vegas. I've shot in New Jersey. I've shot in Philadelphia. I could shoot in my basement. Nobody knows the difference.
Right.
I put a mirror ball and flashing lights, but every club wanted me to come shoot at their club because they wanted the publicity on television for their club. The thing, all these hot girls are there and whatever it was.
Of course.
To answer your question, I forgot what the hell the question was. What was the question? Which
So for me, the question was of all the infomercials you've done, whether it be Dial a Date or your TV show American Stripper there, what was the best or the funniest thing you think you put out? And then what did you ever receive a reaction that you weren't expecting? Like, was one ever way more successful than you thought it would be?
So the dating shows were probably the most successful. I've done other infomercials for clients that I'm not on that you wouldn't know. I've done commercials for nail crap and golf clubs and lots of crap you see on television that nobody needs, that I'm not a host for. I can't even remember what the hell the crap I did, but the dating one, American Stripper, was a lot of fun. I was hired as an independent producer to shoot this show with Ron Jeremy and Sonny Lane, and we shot in Las Vegas, and we shot with all the strip clubs. But the most fun, I would say, is the dating shows, because it gave me a chance to do my one-liners and my shtick. And it ran so often that TV Guide actually listed Dial a Date on as a regular TV show here. So I would say Dial a Date brought me the most notoriety, the most success, the most accolades that Blog TO and Canada still writes. If you watch late night TV, it's David Bronstein that you would remember on late night TV. So I would say that. But American Stripper was great. Ron Jeremy's a fantastic guy. He's very intelligent. He was a teacher. He's just a fun. He's not. I know people think the porn business, the girls, the strippers, the porn stars, all that bullshit. I got to tell you, it's all show business and it's all acting. But when I would shoot in the strip clubs and I would be in the dressing room with naked girls, I would think, what am I doing here? I'm a nice Jewish boy from Philadelphia. Nobody would believe this. My family, my friends, my aunts. I don't believe it myself. I can't believe I'm here. And everybody would love to be in my position. And I can't even believe I'm here. But they're all actors. They're all entertainers. And there's no sexuality to the guys when they're performing on stage. All the guys are excited, but to the girls, they're just performers. And after the shows, we'd go out for dinner, or we'd go to a bar, and they're all great. They're all terrific people. It's not whatever we think it could be. It's all show business. It really is.
Okay, so with all like the infomercials that you've done in the past, and I don't know if you ever plan on doing any more in the future, have you ever thought about, maybe clipping them and putting them on TikTok, or is that just not the Bronstein?
No, that's why I need you guys. I have lots of content besides the content that I'm doing, besides the crap on the phone, whatever the hell that I do. I need players like yourself to take all the content, and I still continue to do infomercials because clients still hire me to produce infomercials for these Shark Tank type inventors that come with their nutty products like ShamWow and Slap Chop and crap, mops, and they still come to me to produce infomercials because my competitors, they charge clients $500,000, $1 million, where I charge clients $20,000. And the reason that you said, well, how can you charge clients $20,000 to $50,000, and there other companies are charging $500,000 to $1 million? Because I wouldn't know how to expense $500,000 or $1 million. I couldn't come up with that many expenses to charge. I'd like to, but I couldn't come up with that many expenses. I wouldn't know how to do it, because it doesn't have to cost $100,000 in this day and age to do what I could do for $20,000 or $50,000.
So,
what was the question? Yes, go ahead.
No, that was good. It's just the question was about clipping.
Gentlemen, if you know how, if you can refer a content manager, I'd love to work with to create a David Bronstein Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and they can take all my clips, all my content over the years, whatever they have to do to run. When I was a kid, I made movies with a Super 8 sound movie camera. My father bought me, and I have a lot of films I made as a kid in high school with all my friends. And I had an editor and film and a splicer, and that was fun for me in high school. But now, I don't have any time to edit and have fun anymore. I got to live a billionaire's lifestyle, so I need to hire you guys that know how to do this, because I don't know how to do it. Everything's on computers, or I don't know how to do that. So I have to.
So with the lifestyle that you've lived so far and all the success that you've had in the past, for someone like us that's still new to the showbiz, as you call it, and still trying to grow as well, what kind of advice would you give us or someone else that's starting their new platform when they're right at the beginning, basically?
Join the David Bronstein empire, because you guys have talents and an expertise that I don't have. And when you join the empire, not only do you work with David Bronstein, you work with all my associates, all my business contacts, all my VCs. We're a whole team for one goal, is to pull ourselves across the billionaire finish line. So I can tell you, it's e-com. In the podcast business, Studio One, you know what Studio One is? Yes, it's a big podcast network. Yeah, so David Bronstein, who's a performer or a content creator or whatever I am. Yes, I should have a podcast. Yes, I should have a blog. But David Bronstein, and I shouldn't say, the word can't is not in my vocabulary. All right, so it's not in. All right, so there's just not enough time in the day to do it all, and I want to do it all. So I'm only going to focus on what I can do. And my wife asks me every day, what can you do? I'm only going to focus on what I can do and partner with players like you guys that know how to podcast and edit and upload, which I don't know how to do. And I don't want to take the time to know how to do it. I just want to do what I do so I can have fun. You know, I say in my TikToks every day, it's circuses and carnivals and candy apples and snow cones and custard. Custard is soft ice cream. I'm from Philadelphia. We call it custard.
Yeah.
But that's what my world every day when I get up. That's what circuses, carnivals, snow cones, cotton candy, candy apples. That's what it is. But to live that lifestyle, I got to make a lot of cash. So I walk a tight wire every day. You hear me say all the time, there's no inheritances. There's no safety net. If I don't give myself the lifestyle, I ain't getting it. And I want the lifestyle, so I have to hustle for it every day. Where my wife's friends, they all have inheritances, they all have family, so they can relax all day. They're living a lifestyle I want. So when I see those cars, the Porsches, the Teslas, I want that. But if I don't go after it, no one's gonna give it to me.
Well, you gotta work hard and play hard, right, David? Come on now.
Yes, I just can't sit and I'm not gonna live a lifestyle that I don't want. So if I want a life, I have to go get it, and that's what I do every day.
Viewers, if you're listening, reach out, join the David Bronstein Billionaires Club,
Yes.
Media Empire. Going back though quickly, I wanted to talk about, so when you were filming these infomercials and these shows, the whole shtick was playing like the classic sleazy guy in the club sort of thing, where you could make these like insanely hot girls. Oh, if David's hanging out with them, then I'll be able to hang out with them, which is why I'm sure the business model works so well. But if you could explain quickly what American Stripper was and how it got started and all that, and just give a brief kind of backstory there.
American Stripper was supposed to be American Idol for strippers, and a bunch of rich doctors in Florida who were friends with Ron got in touch with me. I don't know how they knew to get in touch with me, but to produce, because maybe they saw the dating shows. My shows ran in the United States also, to produce this series, American Stripper. So they put up all the dough. They hired me as an independent producer. I wrote the show. Ron was the Ryan Seacrest, or actually Ron was who was the British guy? Simon Cowell.
Right.
Ron was Simon Cowell, and Sunny Lane, who was also a porn star. She was whoever was at the time. So I wrote the show, and we shot it at different strip clubs in Los Angeles and Las Vegas, and girls would strip, and then Ron and Sunny would debate, is this good, is that good? And we had a number to call to vote for the girls. And then we did I think 10 episodes, I can't remember. And then we tried to get a distribution deal. The NAPI convention is a convention in Las Vegas. It's called NAPI, National Association of Broadcasters, something, where every year in the summer, all the new shows that are produced for the fall in January. It's in January in Las Vegas. And so we were there selling the show to get picked up by a network. But that was in 2009, I think, or 2008. So there's 10 episodes, but they're all very funny. Ron is great. It's great, but it never really got picked up as a series on a major national network. It ran I can't remember where it ran, but I wasn't the owner of the show. I was just the independent producer producing the show.
That's incredible. Did you star in it at all, or were you just the producer?
I was the producer and the host. I mean, you could see it on, I think, on my website, davidbronstein.com. You could see clips of him. Yeah, I'm on every, again, I'm doing Catskill shtick, and I'm doing one-liners. And there's a porn show I went to on a Saturday night that Ron was supposed to be at. And it started, I think, at 8 or 9. And he didn't show up till 2 o'clock in the morning. And I had a crew there, and I called one of the backers. I said, I'm at this porn show. All these porn stars are here, but Ron isn't here. What am I supposed to do? And he said, when you get lemons, make lemonade. So I shot an episode of me saying, did you see Ron Jeremy? Where is Ron? Have you found him? Who are you? And I didn't know who any of the porn stars were. And they couldn't believe, they found it very entertaining that I didn't know who they were, because they were famous porn stars and everybody knows who they are. Right. So that episode is me saying, are you a big porn star? But I was being serious. I wasn't trying to insult them. And they found it very entertaining that I didn't know who they were. And it became a very funny episode because Ron wasn't there. And I had to do something. I had a crew, and so we produced. And then Ron came when I was leaving. Ron comes at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we got him finally showing up when I was leaving.
That's incredible. I love it. For those of you who haven't
when I also shot Las Vegas, I want to tell you this. We shot at a strip club in Las Vegas, and 4 o'clock in the morning, I can't keep my head up, and the place is packed. And I left the crew there to finish up shooting. I said, I got to go to sleep. I can't stay up anymore. When I left the strip club at 4 o'clock in the morning in Las Vegas, there was a line waiting to get out in limousines. It was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. At 4 o'clock in the morning in Las Vegas, it's a different lifestyle. I don't know. It's a whole different lifestyle.
Well, for those of you who haven't checked out American Stripper, I urge you to do it. It's a blast. It's hilarious, and David kills it. And it's funny because a lot of people might not know this, but when you first moved to Toronto, you actually had a job with the CBC. Am I correct?
Yes, I had a show. I did a show called After Hours. I was very lucky. I went from the Pacino gig to After Hours. It was me and Alex Amini. Alex was a star on TNT with Mr. T.
Right.
So we were two co-hosts going around town, clubs, bars, all that stuff. And the first producer hired me, and the press wrote, "Who is this guy, David Bronstein? He's not white bread, he's pumpernickel." The press was always great to me. And then that producer left, and they brought in another producer, a sports producer, and then that producer left, and then they brought in another producer, was a lady producer who hated my humor. She would say, Canadians don't like subtle cerebral humor. I don't know what the hell that means, subtle cerebral humor,
Right.
but not, and then right in my scripts, no jokes, no funny lines, don't make faces. And I said, why'd you hire me? Because that's all I do. But she didn't hire me. It was the original producer that hired me. So I worked on the show for a year, and they couldn't stand the shtick, the one-liners, whatever crap I did, ad-libbing that stuff. And then after a year, they fired me because she couldn't wait to get rid of me. And the host was just Alex. And then in 6 months, the show was canceled.
Gotcha.
So,
Yes.
so where did you go to school? Because obviously with the jobs that you've had so far, you need some kind of experience in education. So like, what did you study in school? Where'd you go?
I went to Temple University in Philadelphia, and I studied film, communications, theater, because I always knew I was going to be in show business. And my parents said, Dave, if you don't make it in show business, you'll be a teacher. But I knew I wasn't going to be a teacher because I wasn't going to teach other kids how to act, because I wanted to act, because show business is all I wanted. So I went to high school, college. Well, we in America, we call Yale and Harvard and Princeton college. I know here you got to say university, or people think you're an idiot. So you have to say, well, I went to university. But, I went to Temple University, college, Temple. And then I pursued my career in New York, Los Angeles, as an actor. And then I came here, but, I can't wait to get hired as an actor. So I had to start my own company to produce my own shows, which is what all the kids do now on YouTube. I just did it before there was YouTube, and I had to buy the airtime, and that's what I did. So I did before YouTube that's what I did.
That's incredible. I only have one more question, which is, of all of the stuff you've done, of all of your infomercials, your TikToks, all the content you've put out over the years, what's the favorite piece you've done? Do you have an experience that was your favorite? Do you have a piece of content that you said was my best thing I've ever done?
I've done a lot on Facebook, which is funny, and I've done a lot on YouTube, but I hardly have any subscribers because there's no really editing or what it should be like Mr. Beast does, because I don't know how to do that.
To be fair to yourself, you have 13,000 TikTok followers, I believe, TikTok. Something like that.
Yeah, but not on YouTube though. YouTube right. I have, but I would say TikTok is the funniest because it forces me to do 1 minute and 15-second shticks. And the followers are all fantastic. I appreciate them all, and they all want shout outs. I'm more than happy to give them shout outs. So I would say TikTok. And to answer your question, which is the funniest one that I did, it's at that moment that I laugh to myself when I go to Pusateri's and I see a door that's on the side, and I say, Andrew, remind me not to hire this contractor, to build our house. Or who lives there? Alice? Mad Hatter, are you in there? Because it looks like, Alice in Wonderland's door. So when I go to shopping centers, or I go shopping with Andrew, or whatever I do, I'm not looking to do shtick. I'm not looking, what can I say funny today? I just go to the store. I just do what I do. And for some reason, I maybe I think funny,
right?
That I'm able to see things the way other people don't see things. That I'm able to, like when I was at McDonald's the other day, and when I go there, you can scan your phone to get coffee credits or whatever it was. So when I went there, I said, I ordered a coffee. I want to scan my phone. They said the scanner's broken. So then I think, isn't McDonald's $1 billion company? They can't afford it. That's what I think. I don't say that to the guy. So when I leave McDonald's, I say, exactly that. Isn't the scanner's broken? Can't think of hiring a repairman to fix a scanner? Get Ray Kroc on the phone. Ray Kroc was the founder of McDonald's. So that's how I think. I guess I see life in a funny way, I guess.
My favorite one of your TikToks, you had one where I think people were giving you a hard time about the Billionaires Club. And then you filmed a TikTok and you said, you guys are all asking to see my cars. Here's my private jet. Look at my private jet. It was the funniest thing I've seen in so long. We were laughing about it forever. And what made you think to do that? Did you just drive to an airfield and film the private jet?
My kid went, no, I don't do anything specific. When I do TikTok, there's nothing's planned. So my kid went to get a vaccine, and the vaccine is near the airport.
Right.
So as we're walking back to the car, I see these private jets. So I think, oh, here's my private jet. Hey, limo driver, I'm gonna go to my. It's just shtick. I just happen to see it.
Incredible. It's so.
And would you believe that the responses I get, that isn't your private jet. You're a liar. You're a fake. It's unbelievable. They don't get it. It's all shtick. It's all comedy. It's all bullshit.
It's so fantastic.
How can I not blog about that? It's so crazy.
Of course.
But of course, I'm not going to show. Even if I had a private jet, I wouldn't show them my private jet. All my success books say, if you want to get rich in the dark. So I ain't showing anybody my house, my cars, Why would I do that? I get nothing out of it. If they pay me $1, I give them they can come in and see my house, but they don't want to pay for that. What do I get out of showing my success? My whole pitch on TikTok, I can't force you to get rich. I can only offer you opportunities to get rich. You got to get you rich. There's nobody getting me rich but me, and I'm going to give you these opportunities to work together to get rich. That's
incredible. Well, David, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. For those of you listening, if you haven't already, please check out David Bronstein on TikTok. I believe it's at David Bronstein 2. Join the media empire. Email davidbronstein at gmail.com. Or what's the email? Plug it for everybody.
David at davidbronstein.com.
Fantastic. I can't believe you got the at davidbronstein.com.
I called GoDaddy. I said, I'd like to have an email. They said, what email? I said, David at davidbronstein.com. They said, okay, give us $100. Here it is.
That's fantastic. Thank you again, David. And I look forward to your future TikToks. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me, gentlemen. You're all great. Thank you.